welcome to MyStartupTV. I'm Major Sunil Shetty. This is our inaugural daily live show, both for the international and domestic audience in India. We will be broadcasting in 14 Indian languages in our daily live show. We will feature thought leaders, founders, and entrepreneurs. So join us every day from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. India time for live updates on the global startup ecosystem. So today we are starting our inaugural broadcast with a dive into the fascinating world of biotechnology, exploring groundbreaking medical discoveries and sustainable solutions. Let's get started. My today guest is Ramjee Pallela, the Chief Operation Officer at the Atal Incubation Center, Center for Cellular and Microbiology, also known as AICCCMB. Welcome, Ramji Garu. Welcome to our inaugural daily live show on MyStartup TV.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sunil. Very glad to be here.
Ramji, let's start by understanding, what is AICCCMB? What's the vision? What's the mission for AICCCMB, given that you're in the biotechnology space?
Atal Incubation Center, CCMB. CCMB is our host organization. It is called CSIR, Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology. So our host organization thought of encouraging and supporting scientists, students, and other startups in the year 2016 to apply for Atal Innovation Mission of Niti Aayog, Government of India, to set up this Section 8 company. So since 2017, Atal Incubation Center CCMB, with a mandate of focusing exclusively in the life sciences and biopharma and healthcare medtech space, they accept applications for incubation in the early stage of startups and the early stage of innovators who can actually engage with the incubation center. So if you can see in the past, 7-8 years, government has come up with a lot of programs. And even way before, Government of India through DST, DBT, if you can see NSTEDB of DST, Department of Biotechnology, set up another center called Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council. Similar way, we have mighty startup hub of Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. So several of such aligned with the Startup India, Invest India mandate of Government of India, where our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi introduced or supported several such schemes to accelerate life science ecosystem or healthcare ecosystem all over the India. And of course, blessings in disguise, the pandemic came and altogether the life science startups or biopharma related startups or healthcare startups start budding up, and a lot of startups formed. Today, if you can see, I think over 10,000 healthcare related or core biotech related startups came in. But before to that, it's hardly about 300 or 600 startups by 2019. So AICCCMB having its wonderful infrastructure, a dust-free and fully functional, all biochemical, genomics, proteomics based, and molecular biology related. So all these kind of equipments that we have, and our host organization also offering such kind of infrastructure and equipment to support till now more than 125 startups. Because AICCCMB, through its journey since 2017, partnered with so many national programs with government and without government support, and also some of the international programs to engage these innovators, be it in social startups, or be it in ICT interventions in healthcare, or be it in some of the medium scale startups as well, where they can come and use our facility to become successful entrepreneurs. So out of the 125 startups that we have supported till now, at least 15 to 16 startups, they productized their products very well. And some of the technologies are patented. We have our startups patented more than 40 patents in these past 7 years. and some have been transferred to other companies as well. And at least half a dozen to about 8 companies, they're already in the market and they got the market traction. So fundraising is one scenario for these startups, but yes, this is one of the major challenges in biotech sector. And though government is really pushing up, a lot in the past 5 to 6 years to fill this gap of funding, be it starting from 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs to even 1 crore, 2 crores, 3 crores. So I think government is trying its best, but yes, the private funding to the deep science or deep tech startups is a bit very difficult in the healthcare domain. So in that sense, recently, if you can see, we try to actually expose our best curated startups to some of the investors, and a dozen of start investing companies. They came and they try to understand, where are they, and they got excited. At least 3 to 4 startups would be kind of getting engaged with those enablers as well as investors for the next another 2 to 3 months. At least one or two may be getting investment. So I think the medium we have to create, and the platforms we have to create. But otherwise, this is one of the greatest sector, as you're actually bringing this medium to global audience. I can offer one thing. Our startups also can actually engage with the global partners, the way they are actually getting their US FDA and EU regulatory certifications. Some of the EU companies and the US and other countries, startups and innovators also coming and looking at Indian markets to collaborate with our host organization and our incubator and many other institutions as well. So we try to engage in such a way that people can co-develop the technologies, and they can market, they can form other JVs. The foreign company and Indian company can form a JV so that they can actually align their marketing channels through that JV. I think, so a lot of scope that we have. I mean, thanks to our government actually, who opened the gates, opened the doors for all these kind of avenues, where AICCCMB today, we are trying to accelerate such startups which are really potential to create larger impact. So I welcome all of startups and innovators to look at us. Let's join the hands together to create, not only national impact but for global impact.
Very well brought out, Ramji Garu. One of the things you rightly said, with the support that government is providing through institutions and the incubators like you, the talent now no more needs to go out looking for opportunities. They can with their, like you said, 40 plus patents with 120 startups. Now they can do things here in India, and that also leads to you know uh, to the vision of making India the pharmacy of the world.
Absolutely. See that you're absolutely right, because if you want to do a business from deep science or deep technologies, I think know-how, strong know-how, and a strong patentability is key. That's what probably you're addressing. Yeah.
Tell me, what support do you provide? Because what we understand from when you talk about biotechnology, the equipment runs into crores of rupees, right? So what if you can just talk about, if you can paint the picture for our viewers as to how does AICCMB look, what do you have there, and the kind of support they get right from being at your incubation center to beyond.
As I mentioned to you, the equipments, yes, of course, different programs. The government is really pumping a lot of money to support such infrastructure. And we are very blessed with our host organization, CCMB. They have a lot of such high-end equipment where that can be extended to startups as well. So they can come and use those host organizations equipment as well at a subsidized rates, so that they can actually get the POC done or get the validations done. So that's one thing. And other than this infrastructure and equipments, uh, you know, having equipments is something very important, but maintaining them, that's where another plus point, as you may be thinking, how AICCCMB is very differential, because the technical mentorship by the scientists or the instrumentation staff that can look at these equipments to run them continuously without any trouble, or anything that's coming up in between. So this is one of the best advantages that people who are incubated here or who are engaged or associated with the AICCCMB. So along with that support, we'll be providing IP connections, intellectual property connections with right agencies, and also regulatory, not only with the CROs or any other regulatory agencies who can help them for regulatory certificate, but also with the government agencies like ICMR and CDSCO, where some of the questions can be addressed. So like, MedTech Mitra, that we are trying to actually channelize our partners to ICMR. So this way, we can't provide end-to-end solutions being an incubator, but yes, we would be knowing the ways to fill those gaps and understand those lacunas. So that's the greatest support that we are anticipating to support our startups.
And when it comes to sure, statistics, as AICCMB, in the last 4 or 5 years, what has been key milestones or achievements that as an institution and your startups have achieved in the past few years?
As I mentioned to you, the IP is one critical factor. How many IP patent, IP filed here, be it patents or trademarks or copyrights. So it's 40 plus, and funds raised, funding is the key. So in the AIC ecosystem, the incubatees ecosystem, till now, it's been close to about $25 million. That has been raised here, and also mostly the startups. Out of 125, the percentage of success, if we can see, generally India we have 3 to 5% in the healthcare sector or core biotech sector. So here it is above that, 7 to 8% or even close to 10% of the success that we have seen here. So. Manpower creation is one factor that we see. More than 150 plus employees have been generated through these programs in this incubation center. And also, if you can see the revenue that they generated, that's also very much important. And also AICCCMB itself invested close to $1 million fund, about 23 companies. And we are thinking probably at least one or two exits can happen by 2025 or 2026, hopefully, or even if it is not too early, but maybe another 3 4 years, I can say. So statistically, if we can say that the graduates, they actually have gone to their bigger facilities. Some have been kind of pausing their activities due to certain constraints. Some dropouts are there. I have to uh, accept that obediently, because this is a typical ecosystem scenario. But I can say one thing really, much exciting way, that when the products now are getting some attraction from the investors' perspective as well as marketing perspective, I think global avenues are getting created and global partnerships also getting created. Like recent partnerships with AICCCMB, if you can see, not only local government grants and the private HDFC Parivartan kind of CSR grants. We got 3 CSR funding, and another 2 recently joined us. Even blockchain for impact, if we can see here. So all these kind of partnerships really accelerate these startups at least to do their POCs and large validations or scale up at least by 2x or 3x. So that's what the greatest success that I can anticipate.
That's commendable in because biotechnology as a for startups is pretty much new when you see as a sector, right? And within the short period of time, given that you lost 2 years of 2 years of time to corona, but also that was, as you rightly said, that was also a time blessing in disguise for the sector, that the awareness got created among startups, the among people who are working in biotechnology space. But then what you achieved in this last 3 4 years, I think it's commendable given the short period of time you've been in the sector. So, how do you, what do you, there are other incubators also in India who are working in the same space. How is AICCCMB different or, from the others?
We have hardly life science incubators, if you can say, India, close to about 60, 70, or maybe 100, you can say, core life sciences, I'm telling. It's not about healthcare, or maybe um, health tech and related, but the core life sciences and biotechnology. And out of that, we have best 10 to 15 life science incubators in India. And among that, if you see the biospectrum reports and in the past 3 to 4 years also, so AAC stand top five or top six kind of rank incubator. So we can say proudly that top 10 incubators. Be it one reason is that, the approachability and accessibility of the incubation services, and also the economic way of actually utilizing the space as well as infrastructure. And more advantage is that in this particular domain, where life sciences and core biotechnology, getting the mentors from the host organization is very difficult. So AICCCMB is kind of, creating avenues to collaborate or co-develop such kind of technologies with host organizations' scientific pool. And also, there is a continuous way of actually workflow that can be created uh, with a fully functional infrastructure. So I think these are the three, four factors. So I can't say in the real estate mode that AICCCMB is so cheap, but yes, we are so proud that that these startups can utilize whatever the limited space that we have today. They're using it, and of course, they are raising grants here. So another important thing is that getting grants attracted to these startups that are incubated. So the chances of getting such grants and funding is high. So I think there are several such small factors that can differentiate AICCCMB from other incubators.
And when you talk about biotechnology, life sciences, research, the image or a perception is that boring kind of a thing, right? Which which drags on and time consuming. But you guys are doing something. You have made an attempt to break that mold, because we have been at your center and we saw the way the incubate center is built. And to top it up, you also the demo day that you did was completely at a different location, which was like kind of breaking away from the usual. Do you want to talk about the demo day that you did 2 days ago, and what was it about, and why did you choose that particular location?
Yeah, in fact, the major drawback or whatever I can say, the researchers think in their domains and in their boundaries. Myself being a researcher, once upon a time, I can say that we work at the benches. We may not be knowing the outside world sometimes. So I think let's do it outside than the the core areas, premises. In fact,
What better than having a pub, right?
yeah, yeah.
What
So
better than
that's
doing in a pub?
yes, yes, because most of the successful incubators or such kind of accelerators, they have such kind of events outside their core areas or core premises. So I think that gives a lot of exposure to interact and engage and share the information or share the experiences. So the recent one that we kind of did it as a first of its kind of attempt from AICCCMB. We have done several gatherings and networking events and workshops, but this is one of its kind to attract a lot of investors. We reached out to some of the unknown investors as well. We don't even know actually, but they are very much keen to engage with biotech startups. And a dozen of them, I mean, kind of attended this event, and they understand what are the positive features of the startups and what are the gaps that they've found in the pitching. So they advise, they give the feedback and comments. I think this kind of demo day is a kickstarting way of encouraging such deep tech innovators, and I hope we'll be doing a lot of such events in the near future, maybe quarterly ones or half yearly ones, so that we can at least tell what we do and what our startups can do. And the startup founders not limited to the benches, but also the businesses. So that's what I can say.
That was we were at the event, and definitely the location that you picked was out of the regular. So
Right.
if you have to look for next coming years, what's the vision? What's the roadmap for AICCCMB? When it comes to biotechnology.
So typically, an incubator starts its life to actually, chalo, let's lease some of the spaces for the startups or innovators, and okay, let's engage them or create a pipeline for startups for not only incubation, for let's welcome them for the services so that the small revenues can be there to manage the OPEX of the incubation center. So I think in the past 6, 7 years, we successfully achieved that, pipeline creation and also having those serious startups with us with a lot of learnings. Year on year, we learned a lot, and we have seen a lot of evolution of our activities as well. So in the coming next 2 to 3 years or 5 years, I think we are looking a bit differently to attract global partnerships. That's one thing. And also, I think being in the city, we could able to get much traction, but again, we have to expand our support systems or services to other cities or other tier 2, tier 3 cities, or within the state or near adjacent states, for example, Andhra Pradesh. So we can expand our services and our collaborations and pipeline in such a manner so that we can show our presence nationally by being set up our small offices or small incubation services in collaboration with the private agencies or government agencies. That's what the plan. And the third point is that we are now kind of planning ourselves to be the serious life science accelerators, because that is where we find a lot of gap, and we try to actually attract some serious partnerships from one or two VC communities where they can be joining and run kind of uh, 6 to 8 weeks acceleration programs, at least half yearly ones. So I think the incubators, unless until they convert to be an accelerator, we can't see great exits and great successes in the life science domain. So I think these three things that we are looking at seriously, and expanding portfolio slightly from the life science and biotech sector to maybe environment and environmental health, or maybe wildlife conservation, and all these areas probably would like to look at in the broader picture so that we can contribute to the ecosystem, not only the startup ecosystem, but ecosystem that we have on the earth.
We wish you all the very best, and we rightly said, for the success to or reach your milestone, you have to go, have more partnerships, including private, and taking it to tier 2, tier 3 cities. So
Yes.
thank you very much, and viewers, do stay on. Following this, we go for a short break, and we'll have a panel talk after this.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.